Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 8 of Escrio Let's Play Minecraft. In today's episode, we're going to go ahead and build a couple of farms, including a sugarcane farm and our new wheat farm down in the basement. You'll also notice that I'm wearing my swanky new diamond armor because I did some clearing out of space and some mining in preparation for this episode and was able to get a whole huge half stack of diamonds in excess of everything else that I got, so I decided I'd finally make my armor. So, yay! This is my armor! So now all I need to do is get it enchanted. At some point I'll get there, and that's one of the things that we're going to be doing with our wheat farm, is now that we'll have a wheat farm, we can grow or breed our cows, which will give us some experience and let us more easily get additional levels for enchanting, at least until we get some form of XP farm. And that's everything that we've got planned for today. So I'll show you a little bit of just kind of what I've been doing, and also talk a little bit about the plans. So here we've cleared out our enchanting area and moved that a little bit lower. We still have our pumpkin farm, which has been producing pumpkins for us. We now have 28. I may make another one of these or another variation on the pumpkin farm because I do expect to use quite a bit of pumpkins in the upcoming builds, and this may not be enough, producing at enough rate for what I intend to do in the near future. But we'll get a sugarcane farm and maybe some more pumpkin farms on this level, at least for now. Down directly below, I put my enchanting area just to kind of get it out of the way. Again, this isn't permanent, but it makes it a little bit easier for us to do things like build up here without having to parkour over bookshelves every time we are doing anything. So that's helpful. And then if we start going down, well, I'll do the water drop. Down here we do have, from our last episode, all of our animals over on this side of the wall. We're going to, on the far side, there we go, on the far side, build our wheat farm, and I'll show you a little bit of what that's going to look like. But I've started to clear out several floors of space in prep for this farm. Eventually, you can see how much more space I still have to do. That opening is the level where the pumpkin farm is right now. So all of this space is future other farms and constructs and underground activities for us. But yeah, for now, I don't expect us to need more than that for this episode, or else it's going to be an incredibly long episode. So we'll go with that. The other thing, I guess, to show you is that I do have this mine that I've kind of been building out from my area. I don't know if I've shown you this before, but I went out a decent ways outside of the village just in case a few other properties end up coming outside of the village next to where I am based. But then I've just been doing some strip mining or tunnel mining next to each other, spacing it out a little bit so that way I get the sort of what do we say? So when I'm mining, when you come down the shaft, you get the visibility of one on each side. If you come across stuff, you are going to dig through, but generally resources end up appearing in a sort of square pattern. So if it's in the center row, you will likely get to it from either seeing it on this side or on this side. So it's a pretty efficient way in order to tunnel mine. There are more efficient ways, but I find this to be efficient and kind of mindless, so I can go zone out for a bit, listen to some music, and mine. So basically, each one of these shafts just represent a single time going out, filling up my inventory with stuff, coming back. And since I've now been playing long enough to get some enchantments going, I also have with me an efficiency pick, but also a fortune 3 pick, which is basically the way that I get my diamond armor, because now diamonds produce, I think it's like 3 diamonds instead of just 1 with the fortune 3, so pretty awesome. So that's kind of the offline stuff that I've been doing. I'm thinking of maybe hooking up to do some like live streaming when I do some of this work, kind of maintenance around the base stuff. Eventually it will probably be more interesting. I figure right now it's just such grunt work and busy work that's not even worthy of a time lapse. But anyway, that's the thought process behind all of this. So we'll get started. We have all of the resources we need in order to do at least some of our bases, some of our builds, our farms. But there are a few things that I really can't wait to get because there's other builds I want to do that require slime. Specifically, I need slime blocks and I need sticky pistons, which require slime balls. So I've been trying to figure out a way of getting access to a slime farm on the server or getting the seed so I can find where slime spawn on this server, but so far no luck. So I may have to just kind of continue to keep my eyes open for where slime might spawn. So far I have come across no slime on the server, which is frustrating because even with the build that I'm going to do today, I will temporarily put in an element, but what I really want to do requires slime. And I'm going to show you what that will look like. So we'll go over to my Redstone testing world so I can show you kind of a sneak peek into what we'll be building. Hello again, and welcome to my Redstone testing world. Behind me is what we will be building today, or at least mostly what we'll be building today. So this, incidentally, is just where I do all of my designing and testing for the various builds that you see in the game, including their sections for the pumpkin farms you saw previously, and all the other really fun stuff. But this is something I'm really happy with it. So this is our vertical wheat farm. So the idea is that we'll have our wheat growing in rows, tiled up as high as we want with this sort of infinitely stackable design. And when we're ready to harvest our wheat, we just flip a lever. The water flows, knocks the wheat off of the dirt, falls down, gets collected into this chest, and we end up having this sort of easy harvesting. And then when we're ready to replant, we can just flip the switch again and replant all of the dirt. Now, what I will like to do eventually is include in this a slime block elevator that quickly gets us up to the top level, wherever that might be, just by pushing a button. And then once we're up here, we can just go down each tier and just walk across, hoe, replant, and then when we are ready to go to the next level, we just fall down the water and do each row. So it ends up being pretty easy to go down this without much effort, but going up, what we'll have to do for the time being, because we don't have any slime blocks, which give us the bounce, or the sticky pistons, which makes the rest of the stuff work, because we won't have that, we will need to just do a ladder, which is really unfortunate. But this is the piece that we need for now. And this piece doesn't require any additional fancy, crazy materials. Again, just like the pumpkin farm and the sugarcane farm, I intentionally kept it super basic as far as early game materials. And this whole design up until right around here, so this is just where the wheat farm side of it will end, is very compact. This wall represents the back wall of the base. So really it's just 2 wide, 3 with the back wall, and with the slime block elevator, the whole thing is 14 blocks wide, 10 blocks wide without the slime block elevator, and our base, our insides of our base, all of that underground area, is 14 blocks wide. So the idea would be that this fits perfectly in our base, in our underground section of our base. So I like it. I think that it could be really cool. I played around with a few different versions of the slime block elevator that makes harvesting these various levels easier, but in our space constraints right now, this seems to be the most efficient, easiest way for us to do it. So that's what we'll get in place. Okay, progress update time. So as you can see, we've started to construct our farm down in our basement. I've replaced the far wall with the smooth sandstone, which is probably ultimately, at least at this level, what all of the walls will look like, or at least this accent wall will look like that. And the rest may end up still just being cobblestone or some other stone, but for this farm, I think that the smooth sandstone will look really nice. With the wheat growing and everything. So I like it. But we started to build it up, and so you can see kind of where I stopped so far. We've removed several extra bricks in part just so I can see what I'm doing. But we have water underneath this line of dirt, so we can put our wheat there. The dirt will get hydrated. Flipping the switch causes the water stream to move all of the wheat into our hopper, into our chest. And flipping it back will stop it. And at least for now, we have a ladder instead of our wicked awesome slime block elevator. But it works. It's a start. So the next thing that I'm going to start doing is building up our next level of the farm, which will include having water right here, I believe. Yep. But we'll not let that happen yet until we've put in all of the infrastructure. But yeah, so we'll kind of wrap it around. We will probably get at least 2 more tiers of farmland with the space that we have right now. I may need to actually go out and get some more smooth sandstone in order to complete this build. I don't have that much remaining. I made a bunch, but yeah, I think I'm gonna need to get some more smooth sandstone. So that's something that we can do and come back. But I think what I'll do is get as much as I can get built right now, plant, and then go on a search for more smooth sandstone. And maybe by then this stuff will have grown and it's ready for its first harvest. And of course, as soon as it starts harvesting, we can come back and play with our cows and feed them and breed them and kind of get some experience. So cool. Anyway, I'll catch you up in a little bit. New progress update time. So as you can see, we have 2 fully functioning tiers put in, plus our bottom level. So, 3 tiers ready for harvesting or planting, or at least rather 2 tiers ready for planting. So this line and this line are completely ready for planting, including harvesting. However, the top row, not yet. I'm not going to fill in that row with water and everything yet because, as you can see, we've run out of bricks for our background, for our back wall. And before I start making this too heavy with water, I want to go ahead and replace all of that brick. But what I can do is show you how I intend to harvest after we've, or plant after we've harvested. So we go up to the top. We come down, we go to a row, we hoe as needed, plant, and then go down to the next row, hoe as needed, and plant. All right, so there you go. We have now officially launched our wheat farm. Yay! That's cool. I'm excited for this. I also had to take off some more height because we rather quickly got further than I expected height-wise. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a whole bunch more sandstone so I can make smooth sandstone blocks for our back. And we're going to need probably about 3 stacks of sandstone in order to finish up even kind of what I was planning on doing for this build. So off to the desert we're going to go. And what I'll do is show you how I very, very quickly harvest sand and kind of go from there. So, off to the desert. We're in a desert biome, a decent ways away from the village. I try to get as far away as I can from the village and any other people's builds because harvesting sand is pretty disruptive to the sort of look and feel of the landscape, and I understand that that isn't necessarily something that people might want to have to look at. So I try to be sensitive to that in, as reasonably as I can. So I tried to find a place far away from people, and this sand is going to be what we harvest. Now, the cool thing about harvesting sand is that it can be done really, really, really easy with just using lanterns. All you have to do is get below the sand, and then when you, because of the way that sand works, when you dig out from sand, it falls down, sometimes with a little bit of server lag. But what that means is that if you can get far enough down below, so that way there is a brick between you and the sand, you can put a torch on the ground, kill that brick, the sand comes down, gets eaten up, and voila, you have your sand all nice and harvested. So what I'm going to do is actually dig out an area fairly wide down below that sort of first level of bedrock, if you will, supporting rock. I'm going to lay the floor with a whole lot of torches, and then I will just knock it out and basically drop a big square of sand for our harvesting. So I'll dig that out and get that prepped and come back when it's all ready for the action shot. Alright, so what you have here is effectively a full stack of torches underneath an almost fully dug out section of sand. I ended up going down a little bit further than I might have wanted to, but that's alright, because we're still at a level where we can get sandstone from regular digging, but now, when we start knocking out the supports, we get all of the sand dropping. And because the torches are underneath where everything's falling, we get this really rapid, really convenient harvesting of all of the sand. And the sand can be used to make our sandstone. The sandstone that we're getting, of course, is used for that as well. But yeah, all in all, this becomes really easy. And no wear and tear on your shovel because you're letting torches do all of the hard work. And there you go. So all of that done in really just a matter of a few seconds. Now, I have a whole lot of junk in my inventory from collecting things, so I've got to figure out what I want to get rid of so I have room, but easy enough to do. And since we're on a mission specifically for sand and sandstone, that will get the priority. And now the fun part. So we've put down all these torches. How do we get them up? Oh, just drop some water. Easy cleanup. Ta-da! And then we can just use any stone to get out of here. If we have enough, let's see. Well, that's probably enough for the rest of today's builds. Probably. Yeah. Okay, so we'll head back to the base and finish our farm once we get out of it. One thing that I will do, just as a, I don't know, being a friendly player on the server, is just kind of put down some torches in here so it doesn't just become a spawning bed for monsters. And now we can get out of here. We'll go this way. So you can see what happens. So for anyone who does play in a desert biome and you want to dig up sand, but you hate what it does to the aesthetic of your biome, no worries, dig down whatever you want, and then you can just easily drop down at the layer just below the top, some sandstone or any brick really, put down some sand on top of it, and no one is the wiser. So you end up having this big massive space that you got all your resources from, but aesthetically, no one can tell. The only suggestion, though, with that is, again, torch it up. Otherwise, you'll have this big covered mob spawner that could kind of suck to have in your backyard. So, yeah. All right, so we'll take all of the stuff that we just found, bring it back, and finish up our build. And there you have it. Our vertical wheat farm. All set, all built, and all ready for growing. I've planted on every single tier that we have. We have 4 tiers of available farmland. Each one is 6 dirt blocks wide, and they're hydrated, they are illuminated, they are all set to grow, and so very soon this chest will be filling up with wheat and more grass and or seeds, and we can replant and feed our cows. Eventually, our plan is to extend this even further. I'm not sure how high I ultimately do want it to go, but definitely a lot further than this. And yeah, we'll have that slime block elevator put in once we eventually can. But for today, that's going to do it for us. So thank you for joining me on today's adventure. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please click the like button down below. And if you're curious about what happens next, please click subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.